All right, so ask him what you're going to ask him. You know you're going to ask him. Go ahead.
You know, one of these, how's everybody doing? And you know, one of these days, people are going to say to me, are going to comment, say, I'm doing good, or I'm not doing so good, or whatever. But you're going to be surprised when somebody comments when I ask, after I ask that question.
Well, of course I will be. I'm surprised every day. We're just doing a little technological difficulty stuff here.
And look at you. What's this occasion?
This occasion right here, well, so our guest today challenged me to dress better than Don. So you want to see this? Look at this.
Dude.
I'll show you. Let's see.
You can't get
this. We got suspenders in here. We got it all. We got it all.
He's got the 10-piece suit.
We sure do.
Look sharp, Scott.
All right.
You going out on town tonight?
Of course I am.
All right.
I think this is my only gig, Don?
What are you? Are you a wedding singer?
No, I'm not a wedding singer. No, that is not what I am. I am not. All right, so it is 7 o'clock, sir.
Are you going to karaoke?
Karaoke? Wow.
You're a karaoke
What am I, the
guy.
Frank Sinatra of karaoke? Really? Jeez. All right, so 7 o'clock. You ready? I'm Scott.
I'm Don.
And we're talking real estate. All right, so Don, we got a great show for you today, folks.
Absolutely.
It's going to be crazy, okay? We got all kinds of new things happening. We have an absolute whirlwind of real estate coming in. Katie Cubr, she's been in the industry for years. She is going to talk your socks off. It's going to be awesome, all right? We have a new executive producer. Dan Chuber's in the house. He's in charge of making sure all the things get fluffed and all that good stuff, you know, like the other kind of flicks that are out there. So we got all kinds of good things happening.
And if anything looks wrong, email Dan at gmail.com.
At dantalkinrealestate.com. Go right there, and that's where you're going to go with it. Absolutely. So, Don, let's talk. Give me with the show rundown a little bit, would you?
All right. So first of all, question of the week of the day is: if you could buy a vacation rental home, would you do it?
So, would you do it? Okay. Now, here's what we got different for you this week. The question of the day: the best answer is going to get our sponsored gift from Root Brothers Coffee. Okay, Root Brothers Coffee. We got a couple things in here. We got some wonderful artesian coffee. We've got some Costa Rican honey coffee.
That sounds good.
We've got a Root Brothers mug, and we got some chocolate that may not make it into your bag. So I don't know if it will make it into your bag or not. So the best answer from today will get Root Brothers coffee. That's
So they have chocolate around your mouth earlier today. Was that from that?
Yes. No.
all
No.
right.
If the
So
Root
what
Brothers
about-
are watching, if anybody from that place is watching, I did not eat the chocolate. We kept it in the fridge. It's all nice and cool. So that's that.
All right. How many bars were there?
That I can't tell you. That I can't tell you.
So you
All right,
did
so
have
give us the
one.
rundown, will you?
All right. So of course, market update. We're going to talk about what's going on in the market. The topic this week is what's the deal with my deposit? How do we work with earnest money deposits from a buyer's perspective and from the seller's perspective? City Spotlight, Allen Park, Michigan. Our interview, you already know that, Katie, our fan of the show, and then going to sum it all up and take it home for, I guess, the rest of the evening.
It's going to be crazy. So
You're going to dance your way out, right?
Yeah, you're darn right. I might dance Katie out of here. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's going to be awesome. All right, so let's get into it.
All right.
So
Market
let's talk
update.
market update, folks. Market update. This is the part that affects you the most. Let me throw a couple things out there first. Yes, Joanne Osborne, this is a bow tie. Yes, it is. Again, I was challenged by our guest to outdress Don. I think I did a little better
Did he do
today. A little bit better today. So I think we did a little bit better, but we'll let you decide. So market update. Let's talk about rates. Rates are still, I've heard, Don, I've heard below 3, but now I'm starting to hear, I was talking to somebody today and they said they had a 15 that was like 2.5, 2.25.
Wow.
Like that's ridiculous. Like that's like a little bitty car loan or something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome for that person.
Yeah.
They can really pay that mortgage down, that principal down, and
So it's a great time to buy. Yes, it is a great time to buy. Something you want to be aware of though is that if we're flooding the market because it's a great time to buy, lots of people out there. So you got to be willing to do what's appropriate, what's
Right.
necessary. New buyers that come into the market, here's what I have to explain to them: that you're going to pay probably 5 to 15 over. I mean, that's going to happen over list price, right? If you like a house, if it's move-in ready, you're going to have to throw out some appraisal guarantee action, right? And it's really hard for people to swallow.
Yeah.
It is, but
Sure.
it's the market that we're in. If you want the low interest rate, and you want a house that's moving ready, that's where you got to go.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what's driving. A couple things are driving the market is the supply's down, demand's high, and interest rates are extremely low.
Yeah.
So you got the perfect storm for a very competitive market, and maybe for the sellers it's great. Buying's a little bit more tougher.
I mean, I tell you another little thing I was talking to people about too is some folks are coming in going, well, you're going to think about selling and going and moving in with in-law so-and-so. I mean, that might not be a bad move.
Right.
Is sell where you're going to get the most maximum dollar for your home, and then if you can stomach your in-laws or different people, you can deal with them, okay, then maybe buy in the fall, winter, or when things kind of calm down a little bit.
Yeah, but will it though? That's the whole thing. That's the
Well,
question,
So I heard feds are not, again, this is it could change in November, okay? But I heard they're not raising rates, and they're not talking about it until 2021.
Yeah.
So
you're
that kind of
talking-
blows with the wind, but again, so your market update is the rates are down, but you have to be ready to do what's necessary to buy your home.
Yep.
Selling, you can almost throw a number against the wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes. with
And
market
appraisals
update.
are coming in for the most part.
Yeah. So
So talking about that for the market update and buyers, the next up, the topic of what's the deal with my deposit, we can talk about that a little bit on how that might be able to sweeten up the
Absolutely.
offer to maybe get a house.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. So this topic comes up has been coming up quite often lately, okay? Earnest money. And so our topic today is, what's the deal with my deposit?
Right.
So-
A lot of people think the earnest money, they don't understand what the earnest money deposit is,
Yep.
either from the buyer side or the seller side. And the buyer always thinks that they can lose it easily, and the seller thinks they're going to get it easily, and it's not really the case, is it?
No. And folks, again, we're going to give you the honest scoop, okay? A lot of agents are gonna kind of finesse this a little away, but that's not what we're doing here. We're going to give you the reality of earnest money. So
Our experience,
Yeah,
it actually
yeah.
happens on
Absolutely.
a day-to-day basis. So, all right. So, what is an earnest money deposit? It's an earnest money deposit from the buyer to show the seller that you're negotiating in good faith, that you want to purchase their home, and it secures the property for you to do your inspections, your appraisal, and go through the mortgage process to get the money to close on the house.
Yeah, absolutely. And it come in any form, right? It could be a check, it could be a cashier's check. I've seen wires. And the funny thing with wires is wires go in style and they go out of style. Wires go, all the time, we want money wired. Well, no, we don't wire for it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
the cashier check wire, they bounce back and forth. Sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like that.
Yeah.
So that's
I had
definitely.
a closing today, and they wanted the funds wired from the buyer for the down payment, mortgage costs, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So usually they'll
Did
take.
they wire it?
Well, there's a little issue with that. So, but he's going to. Yeah.
See what he said? Little issue with wiring. I like cashier's checks. I tell you,
See, that's what most of the time comes
You
to
wanna-
take that,
wait a
though,
minute.
you know?
You want to hear a good story about an EMD? So I was selling my grandmother's house in East Dearborn, and it was an Arabic gentleman. He was buying it for his daughter. So I said, meet me in my office and bring the earnest money deposit. So he comes in. He's got like a pair of shorts on, and like one of those white G-string T-shirts, And he comes in with a bag of cash. I go, whoa, man. I go, no. I need a check or a wire or something. He goes, oh, okay. But at first he was just going to hand me a bunch of cash. I'd have been in Vegas. Boom, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. That's definitely not
All
what
right.
you're supposed to do.
So next question on
So,
earnest money is how
So-
much earnest money is enough?
right, when's enough? So, and this is kind of a hot topic now. I always, like we always talk about, I get on in the morning, about 8 in the morning with some high-end agents from the area, and we talk about what big things are, impeding or making things happen, right? So how much is enough? Typically, it's supposed to be about 1%. Okay, so if it's like $100,000, it's a grand. If it's 150, it's 1,500 and stuff like that. But there's kind of like this new undercurrent with agents that we're going to make a big deposit, right? But I always look at it as deposit, and we're going to talk about this later. It's hard to take somebody's earnest money. It really is. It's
hard.
not easy.
It's hard to lose your money.
But here's the
It's
here's the discussion we had today a little bit was non-refundable EMD.
Yeah.
So you better hope that house is nice and doesn't have any inspection issues. Non-refundable EMD. That's
So
pretty intense.
non-refundable for any purpose. If that seller accepts that offer and they don't purchase that home for any reason, private inspection, mortgage law, can't get approved for the mortgage, they lose their deposit.
That's what it sounded like. I mean, maybe inspection would be the only thing, but that non-refundable because it's like It's like saying the private inspection is for informational purposes only. You know what I mean? It's like saying something like that.
Right.
It's kind of like you got to go,
Right.
You know?
That's kind of risky. How do you feel about that?
You better know what you're looking at. You
Yeah.
better know you better be able to look at the house and not have any hidden stuff that you didn't know. Like there better not be like water damage in the attic you didn't see or something like that, because you'd be screwed.
So if you representing the purchaser, would you recommend that way of purchasing a home?
And it comes down to how bad do they want the house. Like if they're like it's the greatest house in the history of their life, and they want it no matter what, that might be one of those the big accelerators on the list there.
Okay. So it's very important to express to them in detail the risk of doing that.
Yep.
And going in that manner.
Because that turns this whole thing on its head. Like we're going to explain to you about when you can get your earnest money back in that, but that kind of turns this whole deal on its head.
Yeah.
That by itself. So
it's
typically
really,
it's 1%. Typically that's what it is. Yeah.
So it's really good for the seller in that regards if it's a non-refundable deposit.
Yeah, it's like a no.
It's all one-sided for the most part.
Between that and appraisal gap coverage, it's like a no-brainer. Like they can just go, that's the number I want. That's how it is. Yeah.
So it's going to work out. So
Yeah.
all right. So where does the earnest money go to? It goes to the agent, the broker, and they have to hold it in a non-escrow bearing account.
Yeah.
So
every once in a while, you see title company hold it. Every once in a while,
yeah,
that's
it's kind of
weird.
strange. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, like having it in the buyer's agent brokerage is kind of like that's typical. Yeah.
It's very typical. Yeah. And that money does not leave the escrow account until either you close the home or there's some resolution on how that money's going to be divided or split or who it's going to be returned to between the seller and the buyer.
Yeah.
The real estate company, the title companies, everybody else is out. The buyer and seller are in the middle of that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty easy stuff. Now, so let's talk about when I can get my earnest money back. This is the part where, again, the honest truth is it's really, really hard to take somebody's earnest money.
Yeah.
Like I had a guy, to be honest with you, but
unless it's non-refundable.
Yeah. Right. That's true. So one time I had a guy lose half his earnest money, and he was calling me driving to the closing and said he couldn't close. Driving to the closing, he lost half his earnest money then. That's the only time I ever lost any earnest money.
Yeah,
ever.
wow. And that's unusual. That's extremely unusual.
Yeah. So here's your ways that you get your earnest money back. Okay. If you have a private inspection you're dissatisfied with, earnest money can come back to you. Okay. If the appraisal comes in low, all bets are off. Money can come back to you. Right. If the mortgage company won't finance you, and that's kind of like a
you get denied.
That's kind of like a dirty trick too. If you really wanted to get out of something, if the mortgage guy denies you, you want me to deny it?
Yeah, but it has to be legitimate. Something has to happen for that to really actually happen. You're not going to get a letter from a mortgage rep saying they were denied because they don't want to go through with it anymore. They have to have either bad credit or something changed in
something that was
on your application.
Well, now employment, right?
Employment's a huge thing now.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the last thing is some other contingency wasn't satisfied. Like if you said you had to sell your departure home to satisfy. I tell you which one I came across. A young lady messaged me on Facebook this week. And she said, I'm in this situation. And said we were supposed to be able to review our HOA agreement with the condo, and we had 10 days. It was contingent on the 10-day review of it, and they were almost like to close almost. So that little contingency got them their earnest money back.
So why didn't they close? What was
the house? Something they didn't like the house or whatever. There was
something changed.
Yeah, something changed. Something was different about
that. They use that as their out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, again, earnest money is hard to take. It can be done. It can happen.
Yeah.
But it's and the other part too is if you're trying to go after somebody's earnest money, it ties the house up and does a bunch of other stuff too.
Right. From a seller's perspective.
People just want to move on and get to the next thing.
Right. And if you're a seller, to get $1,000 or $2,000 and keep your house off the market, because you have to really break that contract. That contract has to be dissolved before you can move on to another contract. Yeah. So to do that, you have to be released from the previous contract.
Absolutely. So last one, give us the last bit of that.
How do you protect your earnest money deposit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's by making sure you're on track with everything you're doing. You have 7 days to do a private inspection. You have your private inspection within 7 days. If you have 2 days to respond to that private inspection to the seller, make sure it happens within 2 days. If it's 3 days and you decide not to go forward with it, you could lose your deposit.
Yeah.
If you do it on the appraisal, if it does not appraise for the value, and you don't have an appraisal guarantee, you get your deposit back. stay on course with your responsibilities for that contract, and if you meet every one of those, or if it fails, like I said, the private inspection or the appraisal, you get your deposit back.
Right, and folks realize too, every contingency has to be met. Right, like you know, we were just talking about somebody had HOA review contingency, which I was digging deep in their contract and looking at it too. I was like, wow, you know. So, but every contingency has to be met.
Yeah, and on condo and homeowners associations, it's very important that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, a lot of you don't see it, and those documents really should be uploaded so the agent has access to them, so that there's a very short delay on that they can review that. So,
right.
And you don't see it in there many times.
No,
so,
not too much.
Not a lot of purchaser purchasing condos or in associations, and they don't know what they're getting involved in. They're just going through with it. And sometimes their agent doesn't get them that information. So
absolutely. So again, question of the show, sponsored by Root Brothers Coffee. Okay, if you could buy a vacation home somewhere, where would you do it? Would you do it like our next guest in South Haven? Would you do it Traverse City? Would you go Oscoda like Bill Pope? Where would you buy your vacation home at? So best answer, going to get Root Brothers Coffee, a little bit of chocolate, and all kinds of fun stuff. So this is our sponsor for today.
we'll see that candy bar gets there, huh?
Listen, our executive producer, Dan Cubr, said, I cannot eat the candy bar, okay? I'm not going to eat it. I'll get it all over this friggin' tuxedo. It's a rental, buddy.
All right, so that's good for the earnest money deposit. So what's up next?
City Spotlight. But Don, wait. I cannot believe, I think you did this as some kind of weird Freudian slip. That's what I think.
I think so too.
The fact that, I know I've asked you this before about this
You
city.
have, I know you have.
I went through every single episode of this show and I go, we didn't do that. We didn't do his hometown. So the City Spotlight is Allen Park, Michigan.
Woo, woo, woo.
Big Allen Park, Michigan. Listen, Don's like a celebrity there. I mean, he runs the show. He was on the tax review board. He's going to run for mayor next year, I think.
No, that's not happening.
No, Mayor Don, Sweet Don. Wait. So look, we even got people in the crowd. Even the pretty people in the crowd are holding up signs. Sweet Don, number one in our hearts. All right, Sweet Don Lawrence.
I got some people that love me. Hey,
so
thank you.
We're gonna have Don for mayor. Don for mayor of Allen Park. That's what we're thinking.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you have to live in Allen Park to vote for me.
Dang it!
Not everybody loves me.
I'm telling you. All right, so when we're talking about Allen Park numbers, guys, this is going to show you how wicked the market is right now. How absolutely wicked the market. I mean, it's wicked. It's crazy how the numbers are, and it's going to be very obvious to you why the market's scorching hot as far as the numbers go. Remember, actives are always going to be homes on the market currently. Okay, pending is where the market kind of is. It's houses that went under contract recently, and then sold in the last 30 days, or where the market was just recently. Okay, so give us the actives, Don. Give us a lowdown.
There are only 20 properties on the market in Allen Park right now. Only 20.
Now remember that number. I want you to think about this for a minute. Listen to this. There's 20.
20 in pending, meaning under contract, 89.
So there's four times more houses pending. So houses are going from active to pending like that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They're flying off the shelves.
Yep. And in the last 30 days, 38 homes closed and changed hands.
Wow. So pending 9089. So if you want to live next to Don Lawrence in Allen Park, you better get off your ass and get down and check it out. You only got 20 houses. That's all you got.
Step up your game.
You better step up your game to see if Don Lawrence, you can live by him. Now, the average sale price, this is a fun number, $158,455. $55 is important.
But that's pretty exact.
For 1,181 square feet. So for about 1,200 square feet, you're paying about $160. All right, so that's where that is. So finally, we exorcised the demon of Allen Park, Michigan.
It's over with.
I'm telling you, you had some kind of secret voodoo going on.
I think so.
I looked at it and I'm like, you must be outside of your mind.
I would have thought for sure we had done that. So
I don't know if we did.
Told me that today.
Did we do Dearborn?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so let me make sure.
You better go check because
I'm telling you.
You checked them all, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I don't know if I remember seeing Dearborn. I don't know. So enough of our jibber jabber and fancy clothes. We got to bring our guest in here. She's high powered. But I'll say before she comes on, okay, to her family, she's had her N95 mask on the entire time. All right, she has not taken it off yet. She probably take it off because it's hard for her to hear her talk. She's 6 feet from us. She's going to put her butt on that side of the chair. So it's all going to be good. Katie Cubr. Hey!
Welcome, Katie!
Woo! That's what we want.
Hi guys.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks
We are
for
so
being-
excited to
Yeah.
see you.
Are.
We are,
I'm
especially
excited.
because we're going to have the executive producer heckling us from the crowd. I can see Dan Chuber on the other side of this camera, so he's probably going to start swearing at us, making bad gestures at us. So Katie, your big thing, and the reason we brought you on, not only do we love you and think you're awesome, but vacation rental properties. You and Dan have acquired one, and it's become a business / memory maker for you. Yeah?
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to kind of ramble through some questions. I know there are other people that are doing two things, thinking about vacation properties, and it's not a bad way to finance your vacation properties, really, is it?
No, it's worked out really well for us so far.
Right, because like you said, you can have memories and get a little bit of business from it, so it's cost effective for you. So my first question is, what made you decide to enter the vacation rental business?
Well, it kind of evolved. Originally, we didn't set out to buy a vacation rental home.
Okay.
We planned a big vacation with Dan's family, which is roughly 25 people.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. And it took us a while to figure out a location that would be central for everybody. We have folks that are in Chicago, and it was quick to come around Lake Michigan. So we landed in South Haven, like you mentioned, and we had a great time. I mean, we had people there. His dad was 80, and the youngest is 8. So we found something that everybody would enjoy there. So after we took that trip and we made all kinds of great memories, we thought about it. Mainly, I thought about it and said, I think that we should buy a vacation home in South Haven. So I started looking every day, and the only way that I could convince my husband to buy into this idea was if we were to do it as a vacation rental home and try to offset some of the costs, annual costs, with rental income. So that's how we decided, and we went 3 different times out there and toured about 10 different homes each time, and found the one that was perfect for us at the end.
Very cool.
So how long have you owned this property?
March of 2019. Hasn't been that long.
Okay, so it hasn't been
Yeah,
that
it's
long.
been less.
So we went through 2 considered rental
Cycles.
seasons. Yeah,
Right, okay.
there.
Okay.
We're in the middle of the one right now.
So how long did it take you? I mean, you went out there, you saw 30 homes. How long did that process take to
Well,
go through all that? And
for us, it took a couple of years. Not the kind of clients that you guys would want to have, but it's because we didn't go out there that often.
Right.
We were living our lives, and every once in a while, I'd accumulate a few and say, "Let's go." And on the last trip, actually, we really liked the very first property we found. We didn't purchase that one, and then we found the last one, and we're really happy with what we landed on now.
so during that 2-year period, was there the process through your mind that getting used to it, or when you first went out there and looked at 10 homes, you made that decision then, we're going to make this happen at some point in the future, and that future just took a little longer than you had hoped?
It took us. We knew that we wanted to do it. We were committed to doing it, but it was about finding the right property for us.
Right, okay.
We have a blended family. There's 6 of us, so we wanted enough bedrooms for that. He has a large family. We wanted to be able to have enough capacity to have additional guests. In South Haven in particular, there are larger homes with a number of bedrooms, so a lot of multi-generational vacations happen there. So we wanted to find it. We also needed it to be turnkey. We're 2.5 hours away. We both work, demanding full-time jobs, so it needed to be ready. We couldn't handle a fixer-upper from a distance.
Okay.
So a couple quick things. First, Jeremy Morandini says he wants one, so we're gonna probably connect you so you can give him all the spiel of the lowdown.
Okay, Jeremy.
Second one is Chris Bergeron, Mrs. B, your favorite,
Hi, Mrs. B.
says turn the camera so we get more of Katie and less of you. So our executive producer is gonna work on that right now for us. So we'll get Mrs. B, my assistant, also the greatest person in the world, wants more Katie and less Don.
That looks good.
How you like them apples? Next time you
That's
see
fine.
her.
I totally agree. She's on to something.
I mean, we want more Katie all day. That's what we want. That's what we want.
You don't need
So
to see me.
let's talk about income and expenses. Like because most folks they don't get into the rental business. So it's a very particular rental business. So what kind of expenses and income can you expect?
Well, in addition, if you're going to have a mortgage, you'll have your mortgage payment and the property taxes and insurance. One thing to note though is because it won't be a primary residence, you're going to have the difference in the tax rate for that. Repairs and maintenance, which you would have in any house, your primary residence or a vacation home. Ours in particular is part of a PUD, so we do pay association dues, but we actually consider that a plus because our dues cover our snow removal, our lawn service, there's central irrigation throughout the whole property, and there's a community pool. So it's actually a bargain for us because we would have to contract someone else to do all that. So this is a one-stop shop. We don't have to worry about it.
So what kind of cost is that? As far as
Ours is $200 a month.
Okay.
Okay, so the exterior wise, everything's taken care of.
Grounds wise, everything is taken care of.
Grounds-wise,
Yeah,
right.
not the structure itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I meant. The ground.
So that's a no, like
Okay.
that's a no-brainer for you
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to be around. You can be 2-3 hours away. And
Yeah, because we're not going to go out there every weekend and drive
Cut
2 hours to
grass.
cut the grass.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah,
someone
right.
that can take care of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So, and what about renting it, and how do you do that? And
We actually have a property manager that handles it, a property management company, which I would highly recommend if you don't live close by or you're not handy, which we're not super handy either, but really because we have full-time jobs and this is just a vacation home for us. So we do have a professional management company and that's been fabulous for us. They're local. We went with a local company because we wanted to, build relationships in the community. They have all of the, service providers at their fingertips. They know who to go to if, your AC breaks or something like that. Can I tell you a quick little story?
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely,
We
yeah.
love
We love
stories.
stories.
Oh, we were there.
Story from the road. You didn't even ask for a story from the road. She started
Story
down.
from
Look
the
at
roads
that.
first.
We were there Memorial Weekend, and Dan's on his way there. I was ahead of him, and so all 6 of us, there's 6 in our family, we're going to be out there, and we've got kids with electronics and everything. We were having a patio installed in the back, and the contractor cut the line for the cable and Wi-Fi.
Oh boy, that's
So
horrible.
we've got 20-year-old and
Yeah.
12-year-old coming out there
Yeah,
ready to
yeah,
be on
yeah.
their phones.
Yeah,
We have no
yeah.
Wi-Fi. Well, I called the property manager and said, "Do you know anybody?" And she knows a guy that and he came out there the next day and took care of it right away.
Yeah.
Whereas if we would have been on the phone waiting for this cable and internet provider, it might have been a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the benefit of having someone local because they know everyone in town.
Having those connections.
It's kind of like Don and Allen Park, right? The same
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly.
Same.
I
Mayor
felt like I
Don.
should have been doing the ALL. EN, you know that. The games.
Yay! It's going off the reels now, ladies and
Are you
gentlemen.
a cheerleader?
I was actually.
Oh, there you go.
Are you doing like a little routine?
No,
at
no,
the
no,
end?
no.
Damn it!
But my daughter
I thought I'd
was a
get one of those
cheerleader
out.
too, and Alan
Badasses.
was a Division 2, but she was Division 1, and we still would
Yeah.
watch the competitions.
Very cool, very cool.
Well, we have an agent from one of our offices that does it's Allen Park cheerleader coach for under high school,
Middle school?
middle
Okay.
school maybe,
Yeah.
and she has them up there in the States, and she's really,
Oh, yeah.
really hit. They're really
They're
competitive.
hardcore.
Cheerleading's intense, buddy.
Yeah.
Trust me. Just
They're
being a friend
hardcore.
of cheerleading people is intense.
Yeah, they go
Yeah.
head to head with Carlton every year.
Yeah, very athletic. Yeah.
Carlton?
Yeah.
That was who was last week's
Or Carlson.
City Spotlight. Go Carlson.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, all right, all right.
No, a couple
So-
weeks ago.
Now I sound like you.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go back to the management company. What are they charging? What do they actually do for you for those fees?
The
Or
the
fee.
fee that we pay is most companies will charge anywhere from 15 to 25%.
Okay.
We were able to negotiate on the lower end of that, but it's well worth
So who
it.
did the negotiating?
I have to admit that my husband did the negotiating.
Dynamite
Dan
DC,
did.
executive
Mhm.
producer, did
He
the
did.
negotiating. If you need negotiations, call Dan.
Right, but
Dan
I
at
say- I say,
talkingrealestate.com.
you get that down. Okay, get that fee down, and then he goes and does it. Anyway, what they handle, which is critical, is any of the lead flow coming in from people making inquiries. So we don't talk to any of the guests directly. We don't have that communication, or we're not put in a position of having to try to negotiate a different price. They give the stated rates, and they handle all of that. They have a professional cleaner, so they handle all of the term cleans when people leave at the end of the week and it's ready. Any kind of maintenance request while the guest is there, they take care of that. If the toilet broke or something, they're over there again because we're over here in Detroit. We
Right.
can't get over there in time, so it's been a blessing. They also helped us even just get ready to have the house available on the market. They gave us a whole inventory of based on how many guests that it sleeps. You should have this many towels, this many
No
plates,
kidding.
forks, everything, very detailed.
Wow.
And they gave us that list, and then Dan and I also thought back to our times that we've been on vacation. What would we have appreciated in a home when we came? So we've outfitted it with bikes. We have scooters, beach toys. All
That's
of
what I was
that.
going to ask you. What little special touch did the Troopers put on it?
We have beach wagon. We have all outdoor games, cornhole, bocce ball, spike ball, all that kind of stuff. We try to have all of that there because it actually is important to try to have good reviews and ratings and all of that, because people, if you're looking for a vacation home, you're going to look and see what prior guests have said about their
So
site.
you look at the reviews, do you?
Oh, I always look at the reviews.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool,
Always.
very cool.
Yeah.
So they handle advertising too?
They do handle the advertising. They have their own website that that promotes the properties. They manage probably about 40, 50 properties in town.
Yeah.
But they
So
also
are they like the only game in town then?
no. There's probably 3 or 4 other
Okay.
property management companies in town. They also participate with VRBO and Home Away, which are very well known. I guess property advertisers.
Yeah, sure.
So a lot of folks will find their properties that way. But one tip I will have for anyone who's looking to rent a vacation home is, if you know the area that you want to go to and you can find a local property management company, if you go through their site and rent with them, it will be less money than it is if you go through VRBO or Home Away. So
Well, forget that. Here's what you're gonna do. At the end of this, we're gonna put their property website up there, and you're gonna go to South Haven.
Yeah, come to our
All right,
region.
go
You'll
to
love it.
that place. You guys have a special name for it? Is there a name for it?
actually there is.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's called All In, because Dan and I looked at it. Well, we like to play poker too, but
Yeah.
we also said, you know what, we're all in on this vacation rental home. We want people to have a good time. When you come there, you drop your keys, hopefully set your electronics down, and you're just all in on your vacation and having a good time. So it might sound kind of corny, but that was
Oh, that's awesome. Absolutely.
That's the name of your.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the name of our cottage.
You
and
pull
that's
up,
the
there's
way.
a sign that says all in.
No, it doesn't say it on the sign. Actually, I was going to go and make
What the
all
hell?
those
Where
boards.
did the
No.
sign?
If you go on to the Shore's management site, they name all the homes, and that's actually how their staff knows how to identify them all. It's not by the address. It's like, oh, and they know All In is this.
Right.
Also,
So they go,
I
oh
did-
my God, clean up
Right.
all in. You
It's
gotta clean up.
interesting,
There's
too.
a throw up at all in. Jesus, what's
And,
going on?
Yeah, you usually try to pick something that is characteristic of the home, and also All In also means we're at the top of the list for the alphabetical
Hey.
listing.
Wow, that was smart thinking.
So-
Smart thinking.
Do you spell it AALL?
We should have.
Oh.
You know, everybody puts that triple A or
Wow.
something like that.
That was, man,
Funny.
Jesus. That's the next question I can't answer.
Yeah, you gotta think of those things. So how'd you go about hiring this property management company versus the other two? And
Well, since we actually vacationed there on a few different occasions, and so we just paid attention to, there are small signs that they put in the yard, so we paid attention to who were the most popular property managers in town, and then my husband just called them, found out about rates, what were the services they provided, and we just hit it off well with Shore's Vacation Rentals, and that's who we've used, and we would recommend them all day long and continue that way.
Shores?
Shore's.
Shores?
I can confirm Dan Chuber's a shark on the phone. Like, even for like a little get together,
He's
it's
a
like
salesman.
he calls up, he's selling you on all day long. Yeah. So he is definitely.
That's right.
So a couple other questions. We have a couple more for you. Tax benefits. Like, how does it benefit you guys? And does it benefit most people? Because you have a
Well-
CPA too, so you gotta have an idea. Yeah.
Well, it can get a little bit complicated, so not without getting real technical. First of all, you should consult with your tax advisor because everyone's situation is different. There is, unless real estate or you're in active rental real estate is your profession, then it will be considered a passive activity, and therefore any losses that you may have from it, because you will get to depreciate a portion of the home because it's you're functioning it as a business asset also. It could be deductible, but if it's passive, more than likely it'll be kind of held and carried over to the future, and it will offset the gain on the sale of the house. So there are benefits. For us, that isn't the primary driver of why we did it. We did it again to make memories and also so that other people can share, in staying at the home and going to the beach and having a wonderful time. That was really our primary motivators.
And for others to share it with others.
Yeah,
that would
guests
rent
that
it?
come.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
the guests that come. We
People you know or people you're being rented to?
Both. I mean, we've had family there. I've had a work team there. I did a work function there, and just as a getaway, a team building type
That's
event.
sweet.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I had a sisters weekend. Dan's had golf weekends there, so we've used it plenty that way. But really, we try to think of everything that a guest would want.
We were thinking about taking Talkin real estate and shooting it from something.
There you go.
That's what we were thinking,
Taking this on the road.
Hey, on the road, I mean,
In the off season, not
and we'll play some bocce ball and we'll talk. I mean, come on now.
So
Okay.
speaking of off season and on season and the season, so when do you primarily have your rent? Is it rented, and when is it not? And
When do you get to spend time there?
In South Haven, because it is a beach town, primarily, the peak rental season is Memorial Day to Labor Day, so traditional Michigan summers. We have had people come for New Year's Eve and they rented then, but that is the main time. So the good thing is that we can use it all the rest of the year. We, again, part of the negotiation with Dan is that we would leave July, which is the peak month, available for renters. So he's like, Katie, that is off limits. We're not going in July. But we did go the last week of June. We actually leave this Friday, and we'll be there next week, all through next week, with the Cubr clan.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good time. But
Jim Cubr going to be there?
Jim Cubr is going to be there.
Very nice. Jim Cubr now. So she said she had to negotiate with our executive producer, Dan Schuer.
That's right.
That's nice. It's very nice. So in a couple little bullets, give us advice for people that want to turn their vacation home into a rental too.
Okay. Well, first, pick the location that you love. That's the most important thing, because even if you had no rentals, like, where do you want to be and where do you enjoy? I'd say beyond that, also pick where visitors want to go. Ours is on, right here on Lake Michigan, and so that draws people from Chicago. It's only 2 hours away, and then it's closed for Metro Detroit folks to go there. You don't have to deal with I-75 traffic.
Yep.
We can go there just on a weekend if we want to. So the location obviously is critical. I study the area, know what other kind of community attractions that there are nearby. Where we are, there's golfing, there's wineries. It's a trail town, so you can draw people that have a number of different hobbies. So that is key also. Study the real estate market. I was on Redfin and Zillow like every single day until I'm still on there all the time. Find professionals like you who can help you find a home.
There are no professionals like us, right?
No, there are.
Nobody like
you
that.
are one of a kind. Also, do your homework in terms of what your budget is and what the rental rates are in the market, so that you can figure out how much of your costs you may be covering. That was really important for my husband to do that, and even in a very condensed season, you can command higher rents because it's such a small season, as opposed to going to Orlando where it may be year round, but the rents are lower. So
Yeah.
Right.
even in the middle of a pandemic, we had a number of cancellations early on, but then people are rebooking, and we are probably on pace to pretty much cover all of our costs.
That's
For the whole
fantastic.
year.
That's
For the whole
awesome.
year.
For the
And you
whole
still
year.
get to enjoy it all the time, make
Exactly.
memories too.
Right.
Absolutely.
So far, or just even with the future, what you see in the future, how
Oh, I'm not
often
saying
you-
the whole cost of the house. I'm saying our annual carrying cost. That's
Right.
what we're
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Right, but up until this point, or even including August and September, whatever's
For what we have on the books rented right now,
Yep.
it will almost cover our 2020
wow,
expenses.
that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely
and
awesome.
that's with our taxes coming uncapped and losing the 18 mils too.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Before we let you go, Katie,
Okay.
I want to read a couple things
That's
to you.
awesome.
So Chris Wojcinski says, Katie is so smart and pretty too. I think I want to rent their vacation home next year. So I thought
Okay.
you'd like that.
All right.
Anna Denver
Is she looking
says,
for a discount?
yeah, she probably is. So my aunt calls you. Yeah.
Okay.
So Ann Denver says, hi from Jim Cubr. So I don't know if they're related, if they're watching together. I don't know the answer
Well,
to that.
I'll pass that along.
Absolutely.
See if I'm
So
right.
people love having you.
I do have a question though, and I'm really interested in this for some strange reason. Restaurants there? Are there some good restaurants? I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about wineries. There must be some good restaurants.
Oh, there are, and I could talk about South Haven all day long. You don't even have enough time on the show.
Yeah.
But, there is a downtown there, and there's not a lot of beach towns where like the downtown leads you right down to the beach. But there's ice cream shops, there's bar restaurants, farm to table type restaurants.
Wow.
So the things that are local and more unique to the area than chain restaurants that we can go to anytime when we're at home.
Right.
Nothing against them, but you can do that anytime.
Right.
So
Why go there,
right, and
Do you guys take credit cards? Because Don is ready right now to sign up
They
for a
do.
week. He wants to go right
They
now.
do take credit
He
cards.
is ready. He's already like, my wife would love me if I go to South
Oh,
Haven,
she
baby.
would.
All in. Don't forget, all in.
I already got that in my mind.
All in, buddy.
It's already tattooed.
Do you have any
That's
availability
right.
this month? Because Dad's looking in August.
We don't. We have nothing available. In
Even if we
July
can't,
or August.
even if you're a guest on the show, even if your husband was best man at my wedding, even for 2 weddings, I should say.
This, and I said, are you practicing for your 3rd wedding in your seat there?
Absolutely, I am.
See, so no, my
You
my
can
wife
find out in
loves
the fall.
my
okay?
wife loves
You'll-
farm to table. We've done that a couple times, and especially at a winery. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
so get their management company, get this hooked up. I expect to see you taking video from the back of their house.
I'll send you the link to our round.
Absolutely, we'll put it on our
Okay.
back end of the show.
So, is there anything you want to add that we might have missed that you think that viewers would be interested in knowing?
I guess I mean, in a nutshell, for us, it's been one of the best decisions. You know, we happen to be a blended family, and this has meant us setting aside the pandemic and eating together every day. But it's been a way for us to get away. Like the second I drive into town, I take a deep breath, and really, I set my phone down, and we are outside. We're on the beach. We're taking walks, riding bikes. It has been fantastic. So making lots of memories, setting traditions, and hoping that guests enjoy it at the same time, and it covers our costs, so financially it makes sense for us as well. But and you know what, they always say, they ain't making more land, so we're investing in real estate that hopefully we'll appreciate.
investment.
And they're not making more water where you can be on the water if you're close to the water.
Now
So
it makes more sense why Dan doesn't take my
beach.
calls sometimes on the
Right,
weekends.
right.
That makes a lot more sense now. Now I understand. Katie, it was
That's
great
awesome.
having you.
Katie,
I mean,
thank you very
like
much. Yeah, it was
we
awesome.
pumped this up all week and past week, and it came to fruition. That you
So
were
much
wonderful.
pressure.
You did great. It was
Okay.
awesome.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
This was very informative. We talked before, and so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I really
You got yourself a client too. You got
That's
yourself a client. So our question again, folks, and like the Cubrs in South Haven, like my good friend Bill Polk, who's watching up in Oscoda, if you were going to buy a vacation property somewhere, where would you buy it in Michigan? Okay, I saw somebody put Florida. We're not talking Florida. We're talking about the Mitten. That's what we're talking about. So the best answer, we'll get you some Root Brothers coffee by the end of the show. Okay, I'm kind of scrolling through them now to take a look and see. But yeah, where would you buy your vacation rental home?
Just the Mitten. What about up here?
Well, okay. Harbor.
I don't know if there's
Park
any,
Lake
I don't
and
know if
stuff.
there's any resorts up there.
There is. There's some resorts.
In UP?
Yeah, there's a
I
place.
get up to the UP. I don't know.
Copper Harbor,
Maybe-
buddy.
You might be right.
There you go. So
Hey, before we go any further, I wanted to point something out we didn't talk about. We have a logo back here. I don't know if anybody saw that. What do you think of it? Give us a thumbs up if you like it, or
we have a choice between about 4 or 5. One of them, the Cubr, is my executive producer, Dan Cubr, already put the thumbs down on one, so we're not going to do that one. There's a couple other ones. Steve Markey from Markey Design came up with the different logos. We'll put them out on our Talking Real Estate group, and we'll kind of give you an opportunity to make some choices and what you like, stuff like that. So let's get to the big part of the show, right?
fan of
the show. Ready for a drum already? Who is it?
This guy has asked me a number of questions. Every now and then he says, hey, he had an idea for a commercial, had an idea for rentals, this type of rentals, vacation rentals to regular rentals, and his name is Show-John VanHouten. John, I hope you're watching, and we got a T-shirt for you.
Yeah, T-shirt for you, buddy.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for always asking me questions about it. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. I try to ask Don questions. I don't get anything for it. I don't get a T-shirt or anything.
I try to answer yours.
We also want to make sure our wonderful guest, Katie Cubr, gets a T-shirt.
Okay.
So here's your T-shirt. Wear it in South Haven
Thank
proudly.
you.
All right. Big excitement. Big excitement. So Don, I'm looking back real quick to just see where folks, where they would stay, where they get their property. I got Manistee Lake. I got Cadillac. I got Leelanau, Skoda, Copper Harbor. So I would say our coffee, Root Brothers coffee, goes to Janine McKay. Janine McKay, that's who I would say. She said,
Where?
Leelanau, Michigan. So that's what we're gonna go with. So, young lady, I will stop by your home at some point soon and give you this again. Root Brothers Coffee, they're local guys. They definitely got all kinds of fancy brands in here and stuff. If you don't drink coffee like I don't, even though I'm excited about it, I don't drink coffee, so if you want to give it away to somebody else, you can. But Root Brothers Coffee, Katie Cubr, all in. Okay? And you know what's gonna happen next. right?
Let us know what you think about that coffee.
Absolutely. If it's great.
I'm a coffee drinker. I want to know about it. I want to taste
But
it.
you're not getting any. That's,
I know
No,
that.
that's
I
for
know
the
you
show,
are.
but it's
I don't
sponsors.
know. You got
Sponsors
the-
expect to get some action.
You got that under lock.
You
and
worry about
key.
South Haven all in, okay?
All right.
All right, so sum it up for us, Don.
All right, so we started off with market update. Rates are under 3% interest rates. We went over what earnest money deposit and what does that mean for you, what's the deal about it for a buyer and a seller. City Spotlight, Allen Park. Katie, great guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Fan
for
of the
having me.
show, John VanHouten.
And Root Brothers Coffee
Root
goes to
Brothers
Janine
Coffee
McKay.
sponsors.
Yep, sponsors. That goes to Janine McKay from Leland, Michigan. That's where she wants. So get with Katie Cubr. They'll finance your next one for you if you'd like. All
And
right.
our new logo.
Absolutely.
Or
So,
one of them. I'm done.
really?
What?
I'll start.
He starts.
I know.
Oh.
Scott goes first.
Well, why'd you go like this?
I don't know, because it was ridiculous. All
All
right.
right, let's sum this up.
I'm Scott,
I'm done.
And I'm Katie.
and we're talking real estate. Have a good night.